We're live on Instagram, everybody, and that's all that matters. Who cares about Facebook and everything else? Even though they're like the same company. Okay, so we're live here. This is the Gusalicious So Called Podcast. A friend of mine made this, Jeffrey Blackman. So we're legit because we have a sign. It says the Gusalicious So Called Podcast, and he made it himself. He stained it, and all that. Welcome everybody out there that's watching live. Like the few people, probably the two. Let's see. On Instagram, we have one person. Hello, one person. I haven't looked on Facebook who's watching. Anyway, so this is a podcast to promote whoever, and we have many people here, and I'm stoked for that. The first person I'd like to introduce. I won't have us do a bunch of introductions. Wait, should we do introductions? Like just everyone say who we are first. Raise your hand if you think we should do introductions, or just get right to it. No? Okay. No one wants to do introductions. It's kind of scary. All right, it is weird, and it kind of just is strange. Anyway, all right. So this is, pretty much, we're featuring mainly CASA of Tulare County. So we're going to learn a little bit more about them from Jessica right now. And instead of beyond gallery review, we'll go to speaker review. Jessica, do you want to tell us about yourself and what you do? And then I'll think of some questions to ask you after that.
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Justin, for having me. My name is Jessica Robinson. I am the Outreach Training Coordinator for CASA of Tulare County. I have been involved in CASA for about 2 years. I am originally from San Jose, California. I just moved into Tulare County for about 2 years. So just right around the time that I moved into Tulare County, I got involved with CASA. It has been a great adventure. I'm a volunteer as well as I work there. So it's been really nice to see both ends of this amazing organization. I know there's some people that might be aware of it or some not. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know what CASA is. We're a nonprofit organization that advocates for children that have been abused and neglected and are currently in foster care. Part of my job is to spread the word of CASA as well as to recruit people from all walks of life to become volunteers and visit these children once a week for an hour or two inside the foster home, or you're more than welcome to take them out anywhere you like as long as you stay in Tulare County. So a lot of these children obviously have been through some hard times in life. So having someone that is there for them, to visit them, listen to them, and advocate for them in the court system, it means a lot. A lot of our kiddos, we call them CASA kiddos, look forward to seeing their volunteers because we really do dedicate time for them. So, I mean, we're strictly volunteer. We don't get paid. We're not through any, I don't know, it's like child welfare service or anything like that, So our volunteers, anytime they take them out, they're spending their own money. So we do a lot. We do focus on them. Obviously, not just being voice, but giving them that support system that they need. Sorry, my light right now. Sorry. We're a support system. They're amazing children. We have children from zero. We work with children from 0 to 21, different backgrounds. So definitely it's amazing to be part of this organization and give children the opportunity to have someone there for them.
Sweet. Does anybody have any other questions as far as just anything off the top of their head? I have a few, but I just want to open it up to anyone else here. Anybody else have any just off the top of your head random questions for Jessica?
How do you become a CASA advocate or volunteer?
So you do have to be 21 and over. You must pass a background check. You do have to submit an application and complete a screening interview, as well as to complete a 40-hour CASA basic training. This is very important to us. Obviously, these are the rules and regulations from National CASA, but as well to give you a good overview of what will be involved in these cases. You're going to learn from court abbreviations to writing court reports to, different types of abuse, obviously how to understand families. It's not just the children, but you do have to understand and have empathy for the parents. Obviously, they have a previous history of abuse or neglect. So for them, it's a cycle. It's just, that's what they were raised in. And they think that raising the children and doing that to the children, it's okay because they were part of that. So we definitely get involved in a lot of those things. So our training is a little bit extensive. It's twice a week for 5 weeks. Right now, we're offering it virtually. So that's a plus because I know like full-time students, full-time employees, and are really taking advantage of this because prior to COVID, the training was in person. So the time wasn't working for a lot of people because they would get off work at 5 and the training starts at 5:30 and will go all the way to 8:30. So now that is virtually, it's very easy for a lot of people to actually go ahead and get this started.
Awesome. Jessica, let's see. No, sorry, Esmeralda. I just forgot to say this. If you have any questions, make sure you tell people because we didn't do introductions, who you are and where, like, who you're with, if you're with any organization. So, Esmeralda, do you want to really quick? If you have any, I don't know if you have any follow-up questions, but like, tell who you are and who you're with.
So I'm Esmeralda. I'm from Ivanhoe, and I'm with the Ivanhoe Soul and the Ivanhoe Community Council.
And for those that are watching that don't know anything about what you just said, like the Ivanhoe Soul, like they don't know what that is, or the council, like can you tell them really quickly what that means?
So Ivanhoe Community Council, since we're unincorporated area, I'll probably have Myra share a little bit more, but the Ivanhoe Soul is a monthly newsletter that is mailed out to every resident or every address with our zip code, and it's in both English and Spanish. And the Ivanhoe Community Council, I'll let my friend Myra introduce herself because she has a big part in the Ivanhoe Community Council.
My name is Myra Becerra, and I'm from Ivanhoe. So the Ivanhoe Community Council is a nonprofit. We just got started this year as an official nonprofit, but the group's been running for over 20 years. Community members started it, advocating for Ivanhoe different needs, and we became a nonprofit because although we are able to get some stuff done, when we would get grants or something like that, it'd be a struggle to get fiscal sponsor to handle the money and all the other stuff. So we became a nonprofit to be able to advocate more for our community members. And yeah.
Okay, Jessica, back to you. Or does anybody have any questions for Jessica before I ask a question? Anyone have anything off the top of their head? It looks like Jesse's pouring some stuff. I don't know what that is, but I don't want to distract him while he's doing that. But anyway, Leslie is with an organization, and she's trying to get her phone working, so there's that. But okay, if no one's going to chime in, I guess, Jessica, so you're from San Jose, you said?
Yes.
So what made you get into the field of your work?
Well, I've always wanted to adopt a child. Since I was 8 years old, I always wanted to help another child in need. My upbringing wasn't the greatest, so I always thought that helping a child with the same history would be great, to give them a different view of life and understand that it's not their fault and there's actually good people out there willing to do good for them. So that always motivated me, which was really interesting because when I moved here, The first event that I attended was in downtown Visalia with the LGBT plus community, and CASA had a booth there. So my husband actually was the one that went towards the booth, got all of the information. And when he presented it to me, I was like, okay, I'm definitely doing this, because I may not be adopting one to be in my home, but I'm adopting one to be in my life. So definitely it just hit where it just hits my heart, and I did it. Actually, my husband is a volunteer as well. So we both signed up to it. We're both still volunteers, and we have a co-case. So we both oversee a case, and I think it's been a great experience for us. We've learned a lot from these kids. You would think is the other way around, but no, they teach you a lot. They teach you more to be patient. They definitely teach you a different kind of love. So I've been honored, I've been grateful, and I'm so happy to be a part of CASA because of that. And then afterwards, I applied for an opening job. And so now I'm not just a volunteer, but I work there, and I'm dedicated to get more volunteers to, start working with these children and give them the opportunity of a different type of love. So that's what made me get into the field.
Anybody have any immediate questions for Jessica?
I'm wondering, since I'm a CASA advocate and was on the board before that, I'm wondering, my case is ended, and so I'm not doing anything right now. Are you still connecting with your children during COVID? And how are you doing it?
Yes, we're still connecting with their children. Obviously, it's not in person like it has been. We're doing it virtually. It's been very interesting because we thought it was going to be difficult, especially with teenagers, because they have short words. Sometimes they don't, it's just hi, bye, or nothing, or I don't want to talk, so a lot of our volunteers have been really, how can I say, they've been really good. I mean, they've been getting great ideas. We have an advocate that will Grubhub the kid's favorite burger and send it to him, and then they'll get on Zoom and talk about their day and eat their burger together. We have some that actually create little baskets and will drive to the house, drop it off, ring the doorbell, and leave. And then they'll get with their child on Zoom, and they're doing arts and craft. We've had one that it was the first day back to school. She created this background for her with like positive quotes. And so, I mean, there's definitely been great advocates. All of our advocates are great. They just have a great imagination. Even though everything's virtually, they've done their best to make it work.
Great.
Anybody else? Welcome, Stephanie. They just came, I believe, and left. Anyway, I let someone in, but then they left. I have a few notes here. So, any main accomplishments or anything that you're really planning to do? I mean, I know we talked on the phone a little bit about your main fundraisers, like the gala and the run. Any ideas about how that's going to work in this day and age, as far as the fundraising and all that?
No, unfortunately, we don't. I mean, we had to postpone them last year. They did not happen. So we chose. We'll see what happens. It's kind of up in the air. We don't know if we should move it virtually or just wait a little bit more and do it in person with a less amount of people. Our gala is usually in May, and the superhero run will be during the fall. So we don't have an exact date for any of it, or if it's going to happen or not. And that it's very unfortunate because we're a nonprofit, so we rely a lot on these events. But we we have to just go with the flow basically on some of these things.
Well, yeah, it is kind of unfortunate that you're not able. Yeah, hopefully you can do a virtual one. Like, I'm more than willing to help out and get some ideas because I've seen some. The Source LGBT Plus Center here in Visalia. They did an all virtual fundraiser and it was amazing and they raised a lot of funds, so it's doable and I could throw out some ideas and whatnot. But yeah, so what I'm organizing right now is for a little benefit fundraiser. If anyone out there is listening or whatever, we have Sunday, January 17th at 1 p.m. an open mic, open to music, comedy, poetry. Anyone's able to come and perform, and we're just ask people that are watching and there, if you can donate what you can to CASA because they don't have their fundraisers or anything now unless they plan to do a virtual thing. So if you can make it out to that event, and then there's other if you can volunteer, there's other ways to help out if you can't help out with money. And then yeah, anybody have any other questions for Jessica while I think of any last ones?
Well, I noticed that Jesse thought that maybe CASA was only here, but CASA is in every county, isn't it, Jessica?
Yes, there's one in every county. So if Kern County, Fresno Madero County, you have Santa Cruz, San Jose has it, Santa Clara, Tulare County, LA has, so CASAs there's everywhere around the whole country. You just have to Google your nearest CASA. We have a larger area to cover, or myself and Araceli, which is the other outreach. But Tulare County itself has like 1,500 children in foster care, and we are serving 233 and still have 250 on our waiting list. So there's definitely a lot of children that need a volunteer. Now, can you imagine children in different counties? So.
And Jesse,
thank you. Yeah, thank you for that.
Jesse, you want to chime in with before we went live, what you were talking about, like how you believe that in this day and age and right now it's a good idea for people to support causes like this?
Yeah, thanks.
Tell us who you are really quick, besides just the guy with the beanie.
Yeah, my name is Jesse. I'm the assistant winemaker at Hannah Nicole Vineyards. We're a 40-acre planted property. We do a lot of work with the Contra Costa Agricultural Committee. We do a lot of work with land preservation and sustainable agricultural practices. I do live in an agricultural community, so it's primarily Hispanic and primarily low income. I thank you for telling me that CASA is not just in the county that you're in, that it's in more areas. So I can hopefully become involved. I am very interested in becoming involved. I very much want to. But something that I mentioned earlier with the global pandemic with social distancing, I do worry that a lot of abuse goes unreported, not necessarily unnoticed, but unreported. So I really do applaud all the guests that are here, as well as applaud grassroots activism like this podcast. I don't want to take away from the message from the other guests at all. I guess I want to give as much time as possible to the advocacy of these wonderful, mostly women.
Definitely. No, I appreciate you chiming in. We'll come back to you about get more in depth about what you're doing over there, Jesse, because I'm curious about all that is going on because you were pouring some stuff and I was just like, what is that?
Sulfur.
Sulfur? Okay.
Sulfur.
I got some
wine contains sulfides.
All right, I got some questions.
Yeah, but if they want like any relief from talking about the main message, I can definitely be the comic release and like give you guys some really hyper technical microbiology or chemistry descriptions.
All right. Okay, so anybody else before Jessica may have to go? Any other random questions? Yeah, Leslie, we can hear you now.
It's Leslie from Happy Trails. I'm sorry, you guys. Of course, I tried to do downloads on my computer, and it's still downloading. I'm sorry about this. I'm on the phone and on a computer with no microphone. I just wanted to say we have been partners with CASA for years in Tulare County, and we just absolutely love what they do and so proud to be a partner with them. And if you don't know, Happy Trails is a therapeutic riding center for children and adults with disabilities. We've been serving Tulare, Kings, and Fresno counties for 36 years. Donna is a rock star. I haven't seen her forever. She helped out Happy Trails years ago, and we're still using her designs in our newsletter a few years later. But so glad that I was able to jump on here. And Jessica, we just watched your KC24
Oh, there.
So good job, and we appreciate everything that they're doing. And we're so lucky in Tulare County. We've got lots of, I think, over 300 nonprofits, but our community is so fabulous and taking care of all of us, especially during these crazy times. So thank you for letting me try to figure this out, and I look forward to learning more about this podcast. So thank you, Justin.
For sure, yeah. Get your video and everything all set up so we can ask you some questions face to face in a sense. But yeah, thank you for not being a troll. You kind of scared us for a second, and because we've had them in the past, and it was pretty weird. But yeah, so yeah, I saw the article in Your Valley Voice for CASA. That was really cool. It was a random thing I read, and it was good. You know, saying that you needed volunteers and all that. But what's the KC24 thing that just happened?
Oh, we did a live interview because we do have a training coming up next week. So we're trying to promote that and get people enrolled and wanting to, become volunteers. So we do 4 trainings a year. So we have it's a winter, spring, summer, and fall training. So we always try to promote those to get as many volunteers as we can. Like I said, we still have 250 kids on our waiting list. So our goal is to wipe down that list and have volunteers waiting for a child instead of a child waiting for a volunteer. So we're definitely trying to promote that as much as we can. I always tell people, if you can't do it, that's okay. Just share this content to someone that might be able to, because we definitely need the people.
Awesome. Yeah, I wonder, is it going to be on your the Facebook page, the KC24 thing, or is it already on there?
I don't know if it's on our Facebook page yet. I'm assuming our marketing coordinator, Melissa, I know you emailed with her already. She might put it up there soon. But yeah, we try to put those things up in our Facebook page or Instagram or Twitter so people could go on it, see it. We do Facebook Lives every other, depending on what's going on. We try to go do Facebook Lives and promote trainings. We try to help other organizations that work with us. I know Happy Trails have been amazing with us, and we're always trying to, promote what they have, what they do. So yeah, we try to do and keep up with those things.
I'll definitely have to look out for it because I want to see like what a real interview person has to say. Because I feel like kind of silly because I'm kind of drawing blanks on what else to ask. Like I have a lot of random questions for you, but I think I don't know if we have time for that. Maybe another time. But question. We have a question.
Yes, for the training coming up. Are you okay? You said you didn't know if there was a flyer yet, but what is it? By how or by when would they need to register for it?
You could even register the day of. So you do have to submit an application and we do a screening interview that takes about an hour. This is very casual and we just ask you questions to get to know you better and make sure you're a great fit, because obviously, our priority is this child. So we want to make sure that you're good for them. We don't want any, weird people coming in, having, these children are vulnerable. So not everyone's going to, be involved with them. So we take that and we're very careful about it. Once you do those things, then you could start training on the 19th. And like I said, we have 4 trainings all year round. So if this one doesn't work, we have always April, July, and October. So we have those trainings in Visalia, and then in Porterville, there's 3 that happen. But I don't know the dates yet for the ones in Porterville. Definitely Visalia, that's kind of what they always are: February, April, July, and October.
How long is that training, the one coming up?
It's 5 weeks. So you meet every Tuesday and Thursdays, 5:30 to 7:30 via Zoom, and it does go for 5 weeks. So the first day is the 19th of this month, and the last day will be February 18th.
Can you put your website or however you register on the chat so people know how to do it?
Yeah, I will totally do that.
Sweet. Any other Q&A kind of type questions for Jessica from CASA, who is amazing for taking the time out of her day to inform us all about this, because it's really some good information. I appreciate it a lot. Any random questions like what's your color and stuff like that? Anything? I know Jesse has random questions. I don't see him though. He's pretty busy with the barrels. Tiana, or do you have any random questions for Jessica? I know you kind of just popped in, but Jessica's from CASA of Tulare County. I don't know if Tiana, are you familiar with it at all?
I am not, and I apologize for being late. I work.
You're not late.
I work until 4:30 PST, so I was like, oh, I gotta get in here. But no, what I've heard so far has sounded great. Yeah.
Okay, well, how about this? Can you, in like 10 words, what is CASA, Jessica? Or something like, or less, or just for...
We advocate for children that have been abused and neglected and are currently in foster care.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, when you say it like that, it's kind of hard to just want to help out and get involved with. So, anybody else?
Yeah, since I've been involved with CASA for a long time, CASAs are the main link with these children to a normal life. They see a social worker, but the social worker has hundreds of cases. Mm-hmm. You're a one-on-one with this child. And sometimes they'll talk to you and tell you things. Sometimes, I don't know, I've never worked with teens just because I knew I wouldn't do well with them. They're much tougher, because that's when they start really thinking about what their situation is. But I've worked with the younger children, and they're just so fun to see you and have fun with you and able to talk to them and, encourage them if they haven't been going to school, if they haven't been eating, or if they haven't been doing all kinds of things in whatever situation they were in. Having a one-on-one CASA can be very important and change their life.
Yeah, and plus the judges, they're very open about it too, because we do attend their court hearings. We do speak for them in court, and the judges are always like, we want to hear from a CASA. What do you have to say? So our court report it means a lot to them. They really do read it. They really do see, okay, what recommendations have they made? Because we are consistent. We're there once a week. We're not once every month, once whenever there's a problem. We're always there to make sure that they're doing good. And just to talk to them and see how they're doing just personally. How are you? What do you like? What you don't like? What are you interested in? What can we do to help you? Okay, you want to do sports. All right, let me figure out a way to get you into the sports. CASA not only advocates for them, but we have a children's fund. So if a child wants something, we look into it and find ways to get that and make it happen. We have helped girls that, they say we don't have a dress or shoes for prom. So guess what? Here's the money. Go buy your dress, go get your shoes. So we help them in many different ways. We're not just advocating, but we're definitely making sure that, they feel loved and they're not just, unlucky kid. Because a lot of them, they say just like, oh, you're with me because you feel sorry for me. It's like, no, I want to be there for you. I want to help you out. It's not, obviously we're sad that it happened to you, but let's move forward in life. Let's figure out a way to make it better and help them in ways that, maybe a social worker won't be able to, or the therapist won't be able to, because, there are times they're once a week or once every 2 weeks, but we're there all the time. We get involved in their schools, obviously in courts. We talk to social workers. So for a volunteer position, we really do get involved with their case.
Awesome. Any other? Okay, we have a question, Jesse. It looks like, or you raising the roof, or was that a question, or what is that?
Yeah, raising the roof for questions.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Raise the roof while raising the CASA. Raising the CASA.
Yeah.
No, I'm just wondering, with CASA, are all of the parents of the children on board for this to work out, or are parents at all adversarial, I guess, or is parent cooperation a part of an essential part of the service?
Yes, and then you always have the no, because every case is different. So every parent has done things that they could get their children back, or they cannot and will not get their children back. So it all depends on the case, but those who will potentially get their children back, they're definitely on board with CASA. We've never had any issues with them. Same goes with social workers. We don't have any issues with them. They've always been great with us. Foster parents, hands down to them. We have a great base of communication. So, that would be my answer. It's just every case is different.
That sounds great. Yeah, I know there's HIPAA, of course, too, so we can't talk about any particular individuals, but I just was wondering the level of participation by the parents themselves. But yeah, that answers it. Great.
Well, and if the parents get involved, like I had some toddlers, and I would visit the toddler when he was visiting with his parent. But some of the parents don't have those rights because they haven't been doing what they have to do to get their child back, which is take classes and learn how to be a good parent. So, and then the CASA, when you go to court, you recommend whether you think the child should go back to the parent or not. So, because you've been so connected to them. So it's pretty amazing what you can do as a CASA.
Yeah, it's quite involved.
See, my case was my CASA case is completely different from Donna's. I take care of 6 teenagers. So since my husband and I do a co-case, I have 6 teenagers, 3 boys, 3 girls, and woof. Okay, that was completely out of I was like, wow, this is. They're amazing kids, but ever since we read the case, from the attorneys all the way to us, we were like, they're not going back to the parents. That's how serious the case is, because it still hasn't closed. So yeah, I mean, Donna had experience with little ones. I have with teenagers. She had experience working with parents. I didn't, because our case was so severe that there's no parental rights were terminated.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand.
And now we need to look into, where these children will go, where they do legal guardianship, permanent placement, or adoption. We have to look into different family members that are willing to take them. So there's definitely a lot of things that a CASA gets involved to help these children be in a stable home, because that's the last thing we want them to do, is be moving from a different home to a different home to different schools. So, we want to make sure that even in the foster home they're at is good for them. If there's red flags, we'll bring this attention to our associate director, which is Alberto Ramos, or executive director Eric Johnson, will be like, hey, you know what, there's this red flag, I noticed there's something wrong, and this will be brought out to social workers, and they will do an investigation, because we're really focusing them on their well-being.
Okay, any other questions? I kind of have something. So I'm trying to log on to your website right now. And how do I donate? Do I just go on there and just give you all my money, or how do I do it?
Sure, you could do that. Now, There's a thing where you could do like monthly donations or a one-time donation. That's up to you. But if you go to your website on the bar, I think it's top right, you'll see that. It says even volunteer, donate, about us. So you know, you could,
So
or we do on Facebook too. We do like Giving Tuesdays. You could go ahead and do that. A lot of people, what they do is like when their birthday's around, they create a page and then they get people to donate in that way. So I mean, it's up to the person how they would like to do it.
all right, everyone. This is the start of the fundraiser. We got to start spreading the word about it. You know, everyone here, post it on your like social medias if you want. You don't have to necessarily post this video because I know it's kind of weird with the weird host, but you know, go to CASA, TULARECOunty.org, and you know, put a link or however they do it, link, and so people can just, you know, put a little blurb and say, hey, this is a really good organization, and so we can get the word out. I'm not saying each and every one of us here needs to pay them or needs to donate $500 each, but I'm just saying, you know, maybe $5 each, and we could probably, you know, make a little dent, and then but you know, all
Hopefully Justin comes back.
The main message was we all donate at least $5. Remember?
Yeah.
Or that's what he wanted us to make sure we do and tell everybody to donate.
Could you put the link in the chat? Oh wait, no.
Yeah, Jessica, did you put it in the chat? I don't see it in the chat.
For the fundraiser he's doing?
Just your email, just your website. Where
I will
people
do
can
it
go.
right now.
Then share the host right now anyways.
Oh. Oh yeah, we lost him totally. Oh my gosh.
That's okay.
So this fundraiser is, the podcast is doing it for CASA, Jessica?
Yes. He contacted me yesterday and wanted to do something. So it's really great. You run a nonprofit, so you know COVID really hit hard to a lot of us in so many different ways. So, you know, whatever we can get from different organizations, different people is always well received. So it was really nice of him doing this.
Excellent.
Until he comes back, Jessica, are you the host now?
I think so.
I'm gonna see if I can share. Oh, there's Leslie. What do you know? We finally see her. But we don't have an audio for you.
Oh my gosh.
You did it.
Now I need to hang up my telephone, hang up the other thing. Great job, Jessica. It's nice to see everybody.
Thank you. It's nice to see you, Leslie.
Leave the meeting that way. Okay. Wow.
So we lost Justin, but we got Leslie.
Yeah. I don't know if that's much better.
So I'm going to see if I can share my screen. Let's see if it'll work. No, it's disabled. I don't know if you can do it, Jessica, if you're really the host now or not.
Yeah, I think Jessica should be able to if you're the host. You're muted though, Jessica.
Sorry.
Okay, can I ask a question? Who's Justin? I got this great flyer about this today. I had no idea what it was, so that's why I tried to jump on. So tell me about Justin.
I honestly met him yesterday too, so like I know he does these open mics, and like he had an event to help donate to another organization, but Jesse might know because he went to school with
Oh yeah. I can definitely answer all these. Yeah.
Yeah, thank-
So yeah, Justin, Sty, and I, when we were at Cal State Monterey, we organized most of the music and live art performances on campus. He's been doing this literally for the last 10 years, like this kind of grassroots activism. It's usually circled around art and music. He's really branched out to formal organizations as of recently, so it's become a lot more legitimate, so to speak. But yeah, I don't know if you guys know anything about CSU Monterey Bay. It is considered a Hispanic serving institute. I mean, some of the classes I remember that I took are like multicultural poetry, like an examination of the use of poetry for social advocacy. Our economics courses were Marxist based. Everything is at a very social justice oriented mindset from everything we did at college. But yeah, so he's, all of us with the coronavirus sitting at home trying to find something good to do with our lives. And I'm kind of happy that this is kind of what he decided to spend his time doing. But yeah, if anybody have any specific questions about him, I can definitely answer that. Like, he has a cat.
What's the cat's name?
Oh man, don't put me on the spot like that.
You just said ask anything.
I actually don't know. Yeah, I actually don't know. But he's a cool kid. He used to be the front man of a band called Justin Sty and the Trees.
What kind of music?
Like progressive, like psychedelic kind of rock.
That makes sense.
So his band actually still exists, but it doesn't have him in it anymore. So his old band is now a 3-piece group called Strawberry Girls.
Oh. But anyway, Leslie, I think he does fundraisers for everybody, so you can connect with him. How did you get the flyer?
I don't even know where it came through. I don't know if it came from CASA or where I got it. I printed it off first thing this morning, and then I thought, I'm just going to take my updates on my darn computer, and then it got all messed up. And then he kept calling me a troll, and I couldn't figure out how to take off. But yeah, you know what? Looking at the flyer, I think it came through an Instagram that I think CASA posted it maybe. And so it looked interesting. I had no idea who it was. And then as I jumped on and knew you guys, so I thought, this might be cool. So yeah, this has been fun.
So there's Jeff. Jeff, do you know Justin?
Yeah.
We lost him. So I hope he's coming back soon, since this is his.
Oh no, I guess I'm gonna be Justin's stand-in right now because I was just watching, but I'm trying to message him right now, figuring out what's going on. I'm like, you having trouble or why? He's not in the waiting room, Jessica? I don't know. Anyway, I met Justin. I actually know his dad. I've never met him in person, but I've been working with him for the last 3 months. We kind of met over open mics on Facebook and his Zoom that he's doing, and I've been just trying to be like a guy behind the scenes advocating for because I have a job and stuff like that, and so I don't have a whole lot of time to do this, but I have ideas. So I've been giving him ideas on how to do open mics, how to do Zooms, starting a podcast, and we just talk about sharing ideas of how we can promote things locally for music. We started off with music because there's no live music going on right now. And then, it was his idea to start reaching out to nonprofits and seeing if he could sponsor them for his open mics and stuff. And so we've made a couple donations. He's done one for the Source, Habitat for Humanity, and the Vice City Rescue Mission, and now this is CASA. So he's just making the circuit and stuff, and he's just trying to build a platform. He's a good guy, and so I'm just hoping he helps out on his dream. And I think CASA is a great organization. I've worked with child welfare services and stuff like that, and then plus
he's back. He's back. No.
Well, hopefully I filled in for him.
Very professional podcast, right? Very professional podcast.
Hey man, it's a you're starting something out here.
Technical difficulty.
It was perfect because it allowed me to donate.
Yeah.
Gave me time to do that. So
Thank
was meant
you.
to be.
Okay. Glad you're back, Justin.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It was your trick to get me on here. That's what it was.
Yeah, and then Leslie appeared out of thin air, so that's good.
All right, carry on.
So
We've been talking about you, Justin.
it happens.
All good. It's all good.
Yeah, we learned all about your cat, but not his name.
Anyways, where were we? So did Jessica, were you able to put your information in the chat as far as how people go and donate for those? I mean, I'm sure you probably spelled it out pretty easily, but go ahead and do that, and then and whatnot. And so anybody have to go really soon? Like that we should start talking about? I'm just while Jessica puts information in the chat. Who like needs to go and talk next as far as because they have to leave soon because it's kind of getting dinner time and all that. But
yeah, let me put up the flyer. If you can let me share my screen, I'll put up the flyer for the Chicano thing, and then I'll go.
Okay, real quick before Tiana, because I was gonna have Tiana go next, but Tiana, do you want to go do your poem, or do you want to just pass it on to Donna, who I think has to leave soon?
I am totally okay with passing it on to Donna.
Okay, so Tiana, you'll be next. But Jessica, were you able to put stuff in the chat? I still haven't seen if you're able to put your contact information or how people can donate and volunteer and all that in the chat for those that come later, because I think we have some people coming that are lagging and they're just eating some stuff right now, or probably, and then or just getting off work and they'll be here later. So if you can, Jessica, put your information in the chat. I don't see anything because I don't know my.
Yeah, I put in my name, email, and the phone number. I will put on the website as well, and the
can you resend all that, because my chat's totally blank right now. So if you can resend that just in case when you leave, I can forward that to people that come late. And thank you, Jeff, for coming on and telling people about me and mine. I don't know what he's talking about, but anyway, so we're gonna pass it on. Wait, did we lose her? I was gonna say Donna's gonna go talk, but then she's not here anymore. Oh, I'm not the host. Who's the host? Because people are trying to. Okay. Sorry, I didn't. Is Donna here or no?
Donna left. I think Jessica's the host.
It says Justin.
I'm the host.
Oh.
For some reason, I wasn't seeing that host. I was the host. Anyway, it's unfortunate that Donna had to leave because I was stalling and talking. I guess because I get a technical difficulty. She might come back. Anyway, we'll pass it on to Tiana because that was what was actually supposed to happen, and I'll just share what Donna was going to share because we were actually on the same team as far as our project with the event coming up on the 28th. Did she say anything about what she was working on or no? No?
I don't think so.
Okay, I know exactly what she was going to say, so I'll say exactly what she's going to say if she doesn't come back. But welcome, Tino. Thank you, everyone that stuck around. I know we lost some people probably. Oh, there's Donna. Okay. Donna's back. Tiana, I guess you're on hold again. I'm sorry. You're going. No, you're not going. You're going. No, you're not.
That's okay. I'm flexible.
Okay, so we're live, I guess, still. I didn't know if that was going to affect anything, if we weren't going to be live. I don't know. I have to double check on Instagram. I don't know if we're live on Instagram anymore, but because I think I clicked off of it. But Donna, welcome back. What happened?
I don't know. This is the second time it's happened in 2 different Zoom meetings. It flashes on something happened and your computer has to restart. So it takes it 15-20 seconds to restart, then it reboots. So hopefully other people aren't having these difficulties today. Very weird. So why don't you go ahead, Tiana, because I have to go back now and find the flyer.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that works. Yeah, it looks like we're still live on Instagram, so that's good. I'll double check if we're still live everywhere else. Yeah, this has been one of the most interesting podcasts because we haven't had that many people come on, and then all the technical difficulties. That's cool. Jessica? How did you do that? You're able to put. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. You're able to put the court-appointed special advocates logo on, because I'm trying to do that with my logo thing, but I don't know how to do that.
On the picture, I just downloaded our logo and then just uploaded it in there.
But I'm trying to figure out. I don't know how to upload a picture to where instead of me, because I'd rather have a picture than me, really. But But is there? Are you on your laptop or?
Yeah.
How did you get the picture of CASA? Like
on Zoom settings, you're able to change the picture. So just like Maida's her face, I just put my logo.
I don't see Zoom settings. Where do you see Zoom settings?
Right now, you could go to your picture and it's on the top. It'll let you click on it. It's mute my audio, and it has an edit profile picture, one that you have on your computer.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it. It says hide self view, rename spotlight. No, let's not worry about it. I'll figure it out. Jeff will have to walk me through that another time, and someone else. But let's move on. So wait, Tiana, do you want to take it away and tell us everything about your whole life story and all that before we get to everyone moving on? Unless anyone has any more questions for Jessica. I don't know. I might think of some more, but Jessica, thank you for coming. And if you have to leave, you can leave at any time. But Tiana.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, everyone, say bye to Jessica if Jessica has to leave, or say thank you, everyone.
Bye. It was great to see everyone. Bye, Donna. Bye. Where's Leslie? Don't see her, but bye.
Leslie left. Anyway, thank you, Jessica. You're amazing, and we'll be in touch shortly, soon after the podcast. Probably, I'll email you or something.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Have a great evening.
Take care. All right, Tiana, I need you to tell us everything about your whole life story, what got you into poetry, and then we'll move on after that. Do you want to do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 poems?
I have, a wide array of poems to share. I could maybe share like 2 to 3. We'll see how we're feeling.
Yeah, as long as they're not like 3-hour poems.
No. I am a slam poet, so a lot of my poems need to be 3 minutes or less.
Okay.
So that helps. So my name is Tiana, and can you all hear me okay? Awesome. Okay, so my name is Tiana, and I currently live in Spokane, Washington. I am originally from South Dakota, and I am an organizer for the Spokane Poetry Slam. I compete in slam poems, at least I did when it was in person, and I've done a few virtual slams. Definitely not as fun as in-person slams, but still fun. And I'm also a podcaster for the Next Door Villain podcast. And I'm also
make sure you put your links in the chat and everything.
Awesome. I will do that. And I'm also a student affairs professional for the community colleges of Spokane. So I do have a few poems to share with you. The first one is called Love and Tech. And I wrote this poem in summer 2019. And it's definitely one of those poems that just seem more and more fitting with the day and age as time goes on. So anywho, I hope you like it. We are not much for words, We sit in front of televisions, our hands move when we hear chimes. This millennium has always been found in between covers during midnights alone and minutes we should be daydreaming. I used to ride my bike, feel the breeze in my hair, learn about my crush's dreams while staring at his picture in the yearbook. Capturing the heat from the sun was my only goal. I swallowed the beams like they were my fire to muster, told others about love like I was an open window flailing about on a windy day for those to hear my pounding pots and pans of love. I love you. When I saw you, a carnation grew in my stomach. It bloomed to the edges and the petals reached to my throat. The sentences were pouring seeds from my mouth that didn't help me to sound coherent. I pinched myself ever since. But time passed and we became robotic hardware. The brightness blinds us to seeing the ceiling's secret messages at night. The hands don't move well. We need the added oil to get up in the morning. Our heads creak when we turn to look at each other. Our hands aren't, our hands aren't warm when we hold them. But are we kissable in metal? The sun beats down to make us shine on the outside, but our depths no longer glow. There's no sweat down the side. The heart doesn't beat in rapid motion when it's encased in iron. But I wish to take off your armor and see your oozing imperfections. I wish to lie awake in the field, be open enough for the mosquitoes to remind us that we're blood and skin that drips and burns and feels. I wish to spread the chest in a way where flowers sprout out of it and taste the bugs of rapid spontaneity and movement. The fear of feeling would never be overwatered, only suffocated by light gleaming from your eyes. I wish to satisfy the moon. It begs us to dance under it together. Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. Really good. Even though you did get choked up a little bit, but that was really, that's cool. It had
Extra water in there.
All right. So you said you had a few others you wanted to do?
Sure, yeah. I've been getting into sci-fi writing a little bit. I mean, sci-fi loosely defined. I just started, writing sci-fi. I'm not really sure why. It's just something in my bones told me to do it. So here's a space poem. Welcome to Planet Forget. Welcome to this new planet where people come to forget the things of planet Earth. Dentist appointments, traffic. On this planet, the lack of air causes drain in the brain. Here, you only need to worry about floating to space brunch, taking a nice drink of imaginary star mimosas. Welcome to Planet Forget. I'm your guide for the day. Here, you can forget the drunk screams outside your window that you woke up to on Earth. Like, damn, it's 7 a.m., sign the dotted line for alien whispers instead. Be a swift astronaut, smelling atmosphere in the orbit like daisies. Get on the Tesla Roadster 1 millionth to come here and forget wine stains, awkward hugs, and your supposed haters. Your voice will radiate to the fifth moon. Here is gravitational attraction to bliss. This planet's sand is the cold, dark, and stellar beach vacation. Bring some Doritos to wipe across your face. They'll become sun scars. We're all laid off, so I guess it's time to lie down on fiery colored coasts that overlook everything. Being on this planet makes you forget the fear of rifles in campus offices, melting ice caps. Forgetting is better than remembering that your ex-boyfriend was embarrassed of you and the way you ate salad in public. This planet will make you think these things never happened. Forgetting is better than remembering your cat's last meow. We are decent here instead. Become empty from the funny gases here, forget roses. Forgetting is better than remembering that he put a razor blade to your tongue, quieting you from making thrilling noise in earthly cities forever. Escape. But I'll tell you this, your eyes, The carbon dioxide on this planet could melt my neurons. Vast rocks below the black dawn could crack my skull. The radiation could make me think I was never born, gasping out of the womb on Earth. But even on planet Forget, I'll still never forget your resilient eyes on Earth, even with the past pulsating in your pupils. Maybe we could have continued rectifying and someday thriving on Earth in front of the sun. But for now, enjoy the view. Thanks.
Woo! That was amazing. Anybody have any comments, feedback, questions, concerns for Tiana?
We have a slam here also. Do you have to memorize the poems?
No, you really don't. In fact, I would say the majority of performers will have the poem on their phone, and they read that when they're on the mic. I would say, though, that if you do memorize it, it kind of puts you at an advantage. I would say that judges might be a little bit more keen on giving you a higher score just because you're more in the moment and you might be performing a little bit better. But it's really at the discretion of the judges. Yeah.
Any other comments, questions, concerns, farewells, or goodbyes, or anything like that? Jesse, I know you said you might have to go soon. You got a mask on now again. You peacing out, or what do you do, Jesse?
Yeah, I gotta bounce. I gotta close up this winery and take off.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on. Any words, last words, final last words?
Yes, donate to CASA, volunteer if you can.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
Heck yeah. And what about the poem? What did you think of the poem?
Oh, beautiful. I really enjoy that you're bringing sci-fi into it. I think like when you start leaving, our normal reality, you get a lot of creativity and what you can say. So yeah, sci-fi is cool. Keep going that way.
Awesome. Thanks.
For sure. All right, Jesse, appreciate you. We'll have to have you again on talking more about the winery in depth and all that. You're the man.
No problem.
All right. Talk to you soon. Peace. All right. Welcome. Anyone that came in? No, they didn't. Okay. Tiana, did you have one more, or 2 more, 3 more, 5 more? Are you? Do I owe you? Pay? Do I have to pay you for this? Because I mean, it's fine.
No. I would just like to talk about my podcast just very briefly.
Yeah.
So I think that's good on the poetry. If you want more, I can always send you more. I'll also put my email in here too, in case you're interested. But yeah, I am a co-host for a podcast called Next Door Villain. And I put the link in the chat. You can kind of see our website, nextdoorvillain.com. And you, in the upper left-hand corner, there's also like a menu bar where you can see episodes and literary pieces and guidelines for submission if you want to submit literary art. So long story short, basically we talk about fictional villains in an effort to improve our empathy skills. That's kind of the general gist of the podcast. And so each episode is about a fictional villain. If you are someone who kind of likes to nerd out on a certain show or character and you're like, heck yeah, I want to learn about Gaston, or like think more deeply about Cruella de Vil or Plankton or Gus Fring, or there's a whole list of them, Harry and Mar from Home Alone, all of these fictional villains. And so I really encourage you to check out the podcast, download it. We have a new episode coming out this Sunday on Jan Levinson from The Office. And just to be clear, our mission is kind of to improve empathy and to get better at understanding the perspectives and motivations of others. But it's very rare that we say that we agree with the villain or the actions of the villain. It's more of, it's what they did is a bad thing, but we're here to try to understand why they may have did it and what their motivations were and their perspectives, so that we can learn to better understand, maybe better understand the villains in our own lives and figure out how to handle them or what to do about them or anything regarding them. So that's kind of the gist of the podcast. We do feature literary art as a way to further understand and investigate the character. And I write a lot of the literary art for the podcast. I tend to do a poem, and it's usually at the end of the episode. Some episodes don't have literary art. It really just kind of depends on what happened. But other people are incredibly encouraged to submit their own literary art from the perspective of that villain in order for us to further understand them and who they are. And so we will feature that on the podcast and put it on our website and put it on our social media and all of that. And so some people kind of think it's kind of fun. Like, I want to explore Caledon, Hockley, or Cal from Titanic, or I want to explore the motivations of him from Powerpuff Girls and what him means for gender identity, things like that. So yeah, I encourage you to check it out. Yeah.
I will check it out, and everyone else should. Sounds fun. I appreciate you coming on. You did amazing. Keep it up. Any last questions? All right. Well, thank you for coming, Tiana. You can stick around or you can dip. It doesn't matter. I really appreciate you. I will be in touch about the projects that I have coming up, about the virtual online festival and trying to book you for that. And but if you do charge, don't. I do have a little bit of a budget, and if you need any cash or something, just don't hesitate and to let me know what you need. We are everything that we are doing. It is benefit shows. Like today we're trying to raise for CASA, and then the virtual fest. I believe we're going to try to raise for another organization, but I'm not sure who that is yet. So we're trying to get some ideas. So Tiana, think about some ideas too. But also if you need to get paid for your art, don't hesitate to tell me and all that. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. Give a round of applause for Tiana, everyone. And it was amazing. So who needs to go next? I know Donna said you kind of need to go, but Ashley, do you need to kind of ask to try to move in, or Myra or Iris? Anybody need to say, hey, I gotta go soon, immediately? Myra?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so you have to leave right now?
Soon. So.
Okay. So what were the main things that you wanted to plug as far as what you were hoping to get across?
Okay, so I came on here for the Ivanhoe Soul, and I guess I wanted to put us out there. We're a bilingual newsletter. We started off a project. We had interviews come in and help us, and they did an assessment of what our community needs. So as Esmeralda had said earlier, we are an unincorporated town in the Tulare County. So a lot of the way it works is when you're unincorporated, to a certain extent, your money goes into the county, but it doesn't necessarily belong to you. So we have a packing house that provides, that we've got a couple big businesses, but the money does go into the county, but it's a lot, doesn't come back as easily or stay within our realm. So in the time that we've been involved, and others have done it before, have been working on it religiously. There was a lot of work that needed to be done. That's more of the Ivanhoe Council, but we started this newsletter because we did a needs assessment. And so a lot of people get their news from different areas. And although we do have people, on Facebook, we have a Facebook page, and but we also have residents that, don't access Facebook. They don't access, you can't just text them because they really don't respond to it, or they're just not knowledgeable about it. We have a lot of our elders who they don't really use their phones. Like I mean, there are some that do, and then there's others that don't. So this newsletter, we created it to be able to like, when we have resources that we know about stuff coming up, or we work with Tulare County, like our supervisor, Eddie Valero, he's amazing. I was like, I have nothing but great things to say about him. And he's one that, has helped us along the way. So if we know something's, happening, or he knows something that we can work with.
Can we maybe talk with him someday? Like, do you think you could introduce me to him? Because I have a lot of questions about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right. I would love to. I'll let him know. He's and so we've been able with the newsletter it's right now it's a monthly newsletter. So we write. I'm a associate editor. Our main editor is Pedro Hernandez, and like I said, we work with Leadership Council and stuff, and so using a lot of our different resources, putting it on paper, and so then every household in the 93235, which is the zip code for Ivanhoe, receives it. So once a month, everyone gets this newsletter. It's free for all community members. Not free for every resident. So every person gets it naturally. If you don't live in our zip code but would like to get it, you can subscribe to the Sun Gazette, because they are our publisher. And so then you would get their newspaper plus our newsletter once a month. And we are currently working on a website. And so it's not up and running yet completely, but it's in the process. And so like that's another big step, because that's another way. One, we'll have all our articles archived online, plus it'll be, available for anyone at any time versus just the written. But we also do believe that there's a big impact in that, having that physical form, you read it at your time. We've got little different people that we reach. And so it's the newsletter, it's in English and Spanish. All our articles are in Spanish. They're also in English. And like it came out of a project of like, we had a lot of people that weren't reaching. Like even now we're still, missing somewhere. It's like they're still not getting some of the information. So working on how do we make sure that we connect people to the resources that are out there, the news that's impacting them. So that's what we focus on. Like the elections locally was our big one, kind of like letting, when Amber Rodriguez ran, like letting them know, hey, she, because a lot of residents didn't even have her name. So like, if you live on this piece of Ivanhoe, then she's the one who's going to either represent you or not. So we can, get that out there. And
Sweet. That is awesome. I really have a million questions. We'll have to bring you on another time, and I definitely want to have some more conversations with you. Anybody that'll have any questions for Myra before she has to leave?
Yeah, I recommend the Sun Gazette. Sometimes it has much more news than the Times Delta does, and so I'll have to look for your paper, your newsletter once a month now.
Yeah, so it's the last Wednesday that it gets printed with them. And yeah, Reggie, the publisher, he's amazing. Like he's been a great help. And so he is our publisher. The Sun Gazette is our publisher. And so, yeah, they've been amazing to work with. We're new to this. We've never written before. Well, Pedro more than likely has. I've never written before. So I'm also one of the editors, and, writing articles was completely different. And Reggie and Olivia from Internews also like did a training to teach us like kinda, and I say kinda because they did their part, but we're still learning. So,
are you able to put the newspaper in the chat?
So just the name of it, or
the link? Sorry, the website.
Now the website. I'll put in the Sun Gazette's website, because they have some of our articles on there.
Yeah,
we are building the website, another website as well, like Ivanhoe's sold website.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that, and hopefully you can come on and promote that once it's all ready to go, and then maybe I can maybe try, or what do you call it, apply to be a writer for you guys, because it's like it'd be cool. But anyway, that's no pressure or nothing. I'm not trying to.
Oh, and then we also we put it out there, so like community art. We have people, if they just want to submit artwork, we put community art. So we've gotten artwork as like drawings, but it's like poems, stuff. We can print them. We just need to they have to submit them. Well, that's the other part.
I'll submit, and I know Tino will submit, and probably I know a lot of people that will submit. My doodles, I can just submit some doodles, like just chicken scratch kind of stuff. But I'm sure you'll see if you like it. But yeah, put your stuff, the links in the chat, and if anyone has any other questions, think about them while Myra's doing that. But let me ask, Ashley or Donna, should I flip a coin or something to see who goes next, or who has to go quickly? I don't want to keep anybody, and I know we've drawn this out kind of lengthy because of technical difficulties, and we didn't really start right on time. But Donna,
I think that both Myra and Tiana will be interested because the Chicano project is doing a poetry thing. They're doing spoken words, and then maybe some of the people in Ivanhoe would be interested in learning, or maybe they were part of the Chicano movement, and the Arts Consortium, and I don't know what group it is that's doing this project, but let me share my screen, and I'll just show you the screen, and then I'll go.
I made you host.
Okay, it's not up. Why is it not up?
You're host, so now you have to just go share screen.
Oh.
But there we go. We can see your screen. There we go.
So this is fascinating. This is where I met Justin. Because he's helping with it. It's a project to show all the Chicano movement back in the 60s and the 70s, and they're going to go and try to make it more modern too. But they're doing a monthly series. They're going to do an art show, and they're doing each week, Tiana, they're doing poetry. So they're creating poetry for the Chicanos too. They're calling it Seen and Unseen. And the next one is January 28th. This even shows the how do you get into it on the website. And it's going to do Ome, who's she's fascinating. She's a DJ from Fresno, whose I guess family was involved with the Chicano movement. And then also they're going to show the artwork of Esther Hernandez, who made this poster. She took the sun-made raisins and made it the sun-mad raisins during the Chicano movement, when they were fighting the grape boycott and all that kind of thing.
And so people can go to the Seen and Unseen Facebook, right?
I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know.
there's a Facebook people can. That's they mainly have a Facebook.
Okay.
Ricardo Favela, Seen and Unseen. I'll try to find that and put it in the chat box. But we have so basically there's workshops every Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's interesting way to meet some other poets and you get some tips from some spoken word poetry people. I don't know, you may know them. Michael Hasso is the from the Loudmouth Poetry Slam is the leader of that, organizer of those weekly workshops. But then we have the series, monthly series that's on the 28th, and I'll be putting the information in the chat and promoting that quite a bit in the near future. Okay, Tiana just put the event in, so look, we got it. That's Tiana's moving pretty quickly on doing that. Thank you for that. So Donna, any other things?
No, I'm just fascinated that the connection is there with so many things that are here. They sort of all could go together, and so I'm fascinated by it all. So thank you, Justin, for doing this.
For sure. I definitely want to have you on another time where we get more in depth about like who you are, what you do, a little bit about the Arts Consortium, how I can get involved and how others can, and how to collaborate someday, and maybe teach me how to become a next Picasso.
Great. Okay. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.
All right, Donna. We'll be in touch. I'll email you.
Okay.
All right. Peace. Thank you.
Oh, I don't want to end the meeting. I'm just leaving the meeting. Did you take it back?
I'm the host. I'm the host now. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think. Hold on.
It's not. Assign new host. Okay. So
yeah, I'm not the host. Sorry. I need to be. Yeah.
Assign and leave. Okay. I guess I've assigned and leave. Let's hope so.
But yeah, the link works. Thank you, Tiana. The host. I'm the host again. Well, Ashley, how are you feeling?
Good. I'm
Sorry, so we should have really done. I don't know why I should have forced everyone to introduce themselves. We didn't really. No, when we went live, no one introduced themselves.
Um,
I
no,
don't think.
we did it before we went live. So
Yeah, that was my bad. Really, we should have just. Next time, I'm just gonna probably at 4 just click live, and then so no matter what happens, happens. But because that was like I gave everyone the option. Should we introduce ourselves? No. Then it's just like people don't, and no one says anything for hours. But I appreciate you for sticking around, Ashley, and I apologize. We're gonna have to have you on again, like more of a feature where we just talk to you at the beginning for a long time and forget about everybody else. But that was my bad though. Like I should have just forced everyone to say who you are, what you do, and then we'll come to you soon. And then anyway, so you're in Hanford, right?
yes, I live in Hanford. I am the lead organizer for Black Lives Matter Hanford. We created this right after George Floyd's death. Actually, we weren't an organization, or the people I work with we've really never met before till then. It kind of just sprang out of Hanford is not really known for like big activism or just like big protests or taking stands. And I personally was getting annoyed with the lack of communication from the leadership about what happened with George Floyd. They didn't post anything. Like no one in our county who are seen as leaders in Kings County posted anything. So I went to the city council meeting and I like called them out on it because they never say anything about it. And before that, I left the protest in Fresno and I wanted to see something like that in my community. And as I was doing that, I saw this man named Trey. He was like saying he was protesting outside the Civic, and I went there in Hanford, and there was about I think 6 people there. And I was like, we deserve to have our voice heard. So we decided to get together. So I got together with this man that I've never met before. And we organized Hanford's biggest protest for George Floyd. It was between 500 to 700 people. And we did it in like 5 days.
Wow.
And after that, people kept asking me, what's next? And what's next? What are we doing? What are we doing? And we kind of created Black Lives Matter Hanford after that, and we've been meeting it weekly and doing demonstrations and creating other groups and stuff too, and like phone bakings during election and stuff like that to get the community involved any way possible.
Sweet, yeah. I've heard a lot of good things. In fact, a pal of mine, Megan Mendez, who's an artist and activist with the is it Kings County Safe Space?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was telling me many good things about you and everything that you've been doing for it's cool that you're keeping you said city council, you went to the city council?
Yes.
That's cool. You're keeping them accountable, and just I mean anyone can go, and so you went in person and just what'd you do?
It was on Zoom, and then I just told them what was happening and that they need to respond to these events, and they haven't even responded to what happened on the 6th at the Capitol. None of them have said anything about it. So, and today they held a special meeting. They did a special city council meeting at 4 p.m. and they announced it today, like at 10 a.m. So I was like, and they changed the location. And I was like, no one can go and call you or go and talk about their frustration, because I think they saw that we were frustrated because I have a little bit of a platform now. And I was calling out a city council member for wearing a fur cap. And she was like, this is protest style. Like talking about the guy who was from QAnon who got arrested, with the horns. She was wearing it. And I felt like a lot of people shared that picture with me and said it was inappropriate. So I called her out on it. And she doesn't want to take any accountability about being insensitive or anything like that. So I feel like purposely they made us how I feel, because they didn't have a meeting that's supposed to be scheduled this week. So they announced it late. They changed location and changed the time. So yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in our area.
Any questions from our guests? We have Tino. I haven't even said anything to Tino. Gio, Iris, anybody want to speak up and have any questions for our guest, Tiana? If not, I do have like a question lined up and stuff. Anybody want to say hi or anything? And hello. Looks like Gio, don't need to raise your hand. You can just talk.
I did see that lady on Facebook that she was wearing a fur. That one kind of went viral, right? Her doing that, like she was being disrespectful or something.
Yeah, I know I made the post on Facebook and then people were copying and pasting it. So someone sent it to me. I don't have her. She put it on her personal Facebook page, I guess, but I don't think she's the first. This is her first time in office too. Like she's a newly elected official. And someone said to me, because they're upset, because it was 2 days after even, she's just like mocking what happened, or at least mocking the person. And she is a white woman that lives who is representing community of color, and she doesn't see how insensitive it is. And when people of color are telling her their frustration about it, she's just like, I'm not going to apologize. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. This is how I cope with things, with humor and not addressing it. And yeah, so we do have plans of going to a city council meeting and letting all the city council know. But I know people were upset when I made the post, and they were tagging different like news, like local news, and like Spark Valley, and like other, like the Hanford Sentinel from my town, and then like ABC in Fresno and KC and stuff like that. So it's not over because she hasn't said it. I feel like she needs to be apologetic for.
Yeah. It's we're going. What were you gonna say?
Sorry.
No, you can finish your sentence. You said and.
Oh, sorry. I feel like she just should be apologetic in general, especially if she works for a community. That should be the reason you join the city council, is to work with your community and make it better and do that. And if you're just dismissing already in the very beginning your community's feelings, like, why do you have that position?
Yeah,
and you want that position.
And I feel like people, especially in power or whatever you want to call it, power or elected officials, they should not be scared to say I'm sorry. Like, I don't know where they got that. I mean, I know where they got that now, but I mean, I don't know why that became a thing. Like, oh, I'm never wrong because I was elected, and I will never be wrong, and I will never apologize. And it's like, what the. Literally, like, everyone's human, we make mistakes. Like, you can't. What's wrong with just saying I'm sorry or I made a mistake? Yeah. Like, what are we gonna, like, nothing's. We can't. I don't know how, like, they could get removed. Like, if the process is like, if it's like, do they think that they're going to be out or something for if they? I mean, I know that people can call for resignations. I don't know how it goes through the process or anything, and people are more than welcome to make to go about asking for them to resign and whatnot. But like, just to say sorry or that you made a mistake, I feel like that's become like really. Like, hard for people to do these days, but I understand it. Like, they're kind of stuck in their ways. But anyway, it looked like Tino had a question or something because he was unmuted for a while.
The being unapologetic for that reason, it comes from a place of privilege and power.
Yes.
Power. So, I mean, I can go on and on about that, but we've got a lot. You've got a lot of really great people on. And I love what you're doing. Thank you. So, who did you have on right now as the guest? Was it Ashley?
Yes.
I'm Tino. So I've been protesting police brutality on minorities since, like poetically, since 2015. And I'm sad to tell you I have an entire chapbook called Instruments of Death. Protesting gun violence and police violence. And I was looking for, I have a poem called I Can't Breathe, and I wrote it twice. First for the man in New York, and then it didn't take much to update it, to revise it full circle, from 2015 to last year, that here we are again. And you got another person of color who's being choked to death. So you had the gun violence, the chokings, the beatings, a whole lot of abuse, disproportionately, unfortunately, the darker you are. So while I have a lot of poems on that, last year, did you hear about the high school that did the Black Lives Matter posters on the high school?
In Visalia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the kids, I've really got to tip my hat to them. They were really leading the way on that. So, you know, I learned a long time ago, use your talents, right? And I got a message from one of the parents that the kids were being threatened with violence by adults. So I was on like a Zoom meeting from work, and I went, and it was 104 that day. The kids were, you know, they're getting them torn down, and people in big old raised up trucks with Trump flags, you know, like revving their engine on them or driving by real slow. And, you know, the kids were scared, and they were actually verbalizing threats. So I jumped in my car, went out there, and I provided security for those kids most of that summer. You know, use your talent, you know? So probably the largest forum I've done has been up in Fresno, most recently the protesting the kids in cages. But for DACA, they put me on a bullhorn. It was like 500-600 people, you know, that were advocating for the Dreamers. And I did a poem, you know, in front of that many people there. So what I'm sharing with you is that I love what you're doing. And I'm Tino Reyes. I'm the only Reyes, aside from my brother, on these medias. I'll put my link in the, not my link, my name in the, because the spelling's different in the chat. But I offer my support, my poetry, security, voice, sing, rap, whatever you need. I extend it to you out of respect for what you're doing and power to the cause.
Absolutely. Thank you. I actually think we are Facebook friends. I feel like on, I think we are. I would share the content you were doing about Visalia to people all the time. But yeah, I absolutely appreciate it. It's a lot of work that we've been neglected, I feel like, in Hanford and Kings County in general. And I know I've been like in activism for like as long, like in high school, I would say, but I would go to like Fresno to do it because that's where like demonstrations were at, and I would get frustrated, like, why aren't we doing anything in Hanford? And I lived in LA, did stuff there, and I go to school UC Santa Cruz right now, and then so I've never seen any kind of demonstration, and it just really shows you, like, with the turnout at the first protest, that people feel the way that I feel, or other people, like, they feel it and they want to change stuff, but they feel suppressed here because their voice isn't heard. And then usually the conservative or like racist people actually scream really loud with those flags with their trucks, and they're just very intimidating, and they just need someone to start it. So like, I'm glad that I was able to do it. I never expected to be able to do something like that, nor I don't know, it's a great thing to do right now. It's exhausting mentally to get screenshots from the community, like just like people who are actively being racist or doing stuff or threatening people, and having to be the go-to person to try to like help guide away from the like negative or turn that into action. But I'm glad that I get to do it for the community here.
We definitely should try to, you put our resources together and organize, because, Tino's been organizing, and I'm definitely down to help out. And so, hopefully, we can try to think of something to do and maybe unite the counties, because Tino and I are over here in Visalia. But any questions, any comments, anything for Ashley before I go to my next question for her? Because I have like a few. So I know like your whole life story pretty much because we had the Instagram chat. But for everyone else, tell a little bit about yourself, your background, what you're studying, and all that. Give the whole life story kind of thing. Hobbies, and all and whatnot.
Also, I'm born and raised in Hanford. Lived majority of my life in Hanford. I currently go to school for critical race and ethnic studies, and I am studying with the thesis that racism is a public health issue. I'm really into health and public health. I really got into public health when I used to actually being here and seeing this like in high school, knowing that like I got only like abstinence only like sex ed, and like we have like Kings County, Tulare County, and Fresno County, we all stay in like the top 10 of like highest STIs and pregnancies, but the education here is like inadequate about it. So like I've always wanted to, when I was younger, I was like, I want to be a sex ed teacher and like all this stuff so I can teach people and let them learn. So when I lived in LA, I actually volunteered with Planned Parenthood. I used to teach sex ed and stuff. And that's where I learned about the field of public health and realized that I can make change. So when I moved back to Hanford, I went to West Hills Community College, studied health science, and didn't go into public health right out. I did get into public health programs, but I decided to go to UC Santa Cruz for their community activism program that had a health justice thing. But there's a whole thing about that specific major that's kind of flawed, but I changed it into critical race and ethnic studies, and I'm still able to do any of that. So I'm currently a student there now. Being a student, I'm an older student, so I'm 31. It took a long time to get to that path, but it all led back to here doing this great work. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Any hobbies besides the music and all that?
Yeah, I rollerblade and roller skate. Like this says and skate, speak out and skate on there, but I've rollerbladed my whole life. But and then I just currently like started roller skating back in like March and going to the skate park because I wasn't allowed to when I was a teenager. So I guess before
What
I
about
got completely
the
shut.
competitions? You want to talk a little bit about the competitions you're in?
In the competitions?
The Temecula one?
Oh, Spartan races. I do a lot of things. I forget. Well, I guess it goes with like me. I used to like do sports all the time. So like doing anything athletic is kind of like my jam. So I did do Spartan races. If you don't know, they're kind of intense obstacle races between like 3.5 to like, I think 26 miles with just like 20 to like, I don't know, like 50 obstacles within, and they're pretty brutal. You get bruised up and stuff, but you do get a free beer at the end with a banana and a shirt. So it's totally worth it.
So I know you have some meetings coming. I'm trying to get connected to learn more. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? I know there's one tonight with Kings County Safe Space. I'm trying to hopefully get to around 7, but if not, I'll try to catch up with Megan. But do you want to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming things and plans?
Yeah, so Black Lives Matter, we've also, we're just really working on trying to address any kind of disparities, or at least letting the community know about the disparities. Because I feel like that's the way people keep the community oppressed and stuff, is just not letting them know that this research exists or what's going on in the area. So we have different groups. King Safe Space, which is our LGBT group, formed. So Megan, she leads it. And you can find them on Instagram, but we also have a group that's working on criminal justice reform. They meet every other Monday. So they're really digging into like reading our police manuals or Kings County Sheriff's manuals. And right now they're currently preparing for the NAACP has been throwing town halls, and this is going to be a law enforcement town hall. So that's currently what they're preparing for, trying to do research and then ask questions to the law enforcement so we can hear their responses and then figure out ways as a community how we can fix the disparities that come on. And then we have our education group who just had in town hall with the NAACP, but they're really looking at the disparities in education here and really trying to bring social media awareness and bringing out, and then attending school board meetings to ask for, specifically right now, asking for more teachers of color here, because the majority of teachers here are white, even though this is a community of color, the majority of being Latino or Latine. And then we have our health group right now, which is working on different kind of health or mental health. We talking about COVID and possibly just any other health issues at the moment. I know we are working on showing a documentary which is talking about forced sterilization it's called Belly of the Beast. We're trying to get that to come here or like do a virtual showing of that. This is about forced sterilizations in prison, specifically the Coachella prison, which is like an hour away from Hanford. So there was a case about them sterilizing women when they were going to give birth, like in is it Madera or Merced? I forget which was closer, Madera maybe hospital. So there's a film about it, and we're trying to bring it here because in Central Valley, you are surrounded by prisons everywhere. And that's just what our community is. And they feel like we should let people know what's going on.
Sure. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? I don't know where Tino went. I haven't seen Iris and Gio. How's it going? Tiana? Anything to chime in with?
I appreciate what you guys are doing. I am just recently in the process of getting my green card. I've been here for like 25 years. When I was in high school, I got a felony. It was a bag of marijuana, and they charged me with a felony after I turned 18. So I was not able to fix my papers. I had to go through a lawyer to get the case reopened. And it's just a lot of misinformation for people. A lot of people can do what I did, but there's not a lot of information about that, because once you get a conviction, you cannot get your green card or apply for it. But there's also things that you can do to get that taken out of your record. And luckily, I had the support, and I had a little bit of financial, gain, and I was able to do that. So I'm almost at the end of the tunnel. But I went to a couple years ago. I went to Illinois for a DUI as well, and I got detained and got sent to a detention center. And this was all going on in the middle of me trying to get my papers. So they just made it more difficult for me. I went to pay for a ticket that I had in Illinois, and Illinois put an ICE hold on me, and then they sent me to Missouri, and they were trying to deport me. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Just wanted to say that. I know that we all make mistakes in the past, but there's also things that you can do to correct them, and there's not that much information that I think out there from our community that will guide you in the right direction. So
yeah,
I appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing. My friend, she's a part of the group. We do have like an immigration justice group. We're trying to, we did have people, but it kind of fell apart. But we're only like 7 months old, so that's just like any information we're just trying to get out. So it would be awesome to link up and talk about different ways, especially with criminal justice reform too, and trying to figure out because a lot of people here with voting and stuff don't know in California that if you have a felony you can still vote. Yeah. Just as long as you're not on parole. So but no one knows that, especially
offense or something, right? As long as it's not a violent offense or something.
No, it's as long as you're not on parole. But if you had a felony but now that's changed because we passed I think it's Proposition 17 or 16, one of those numbers. But now even if you're on parole, you can still register. You can register to vote now in California. So you can register and actually vote, even if you're. I think you just can't be incarcerated at the moment. So we're getting into. So it's just getting that information, especially since we live in a community that is around. We do have prisons surrounding us, and just leaving that information out from the public is showing that because people come back to this community. After they're incarcerated, but they don't have that knowledge that they can have the basic right of voting and stuff. And I think it's purposely done to keep people suppressed and not use their votes, because if you see, if I have the Kings County, the voting outcome, and it's in Kings County, only 600 Black people voted. Or no, were registered to vote. Only 300 or something. That's just a small number. Only 600 were actually registered to vote, and not 100% ever comes out. And then the lowest, like during like ethnicity and race, the lowest turnout was from our Latinx community. It was like 40% compared to like Black, white, and Asian were in the 60s. So like there's different like areas that we need to fix and get information and figure out why people, the information exists, but why aren't our community leaders like changing things, or at least letting the public know. And it has to go back with like power and privilege too, and who wants to have the power, because our city council doesn't look like us, our board of supervisor doesn't look like us, like what the community represents. So
they don't reflect our people.
But I'll leave my information and the Facebook and IG stuff in there. So
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you giving us all the info, and we'll have to have you again and feature you, and maybe some of the other members can come and talk about some projects that you have coming up. But yeah, feel free to if you have anything else last that you want to promote. But I do. I'm amazed at all that you've done so far and all that you have planned. And but basically, yeah, we need activists, and I think people are starting to wake up and realize we can't just rely on elected officials. We got to kind of just work as citizens together, or whatever, not citizens even, and like just as humans on this planet. We can see what's wrong, and if there's injustice, we can try to do what we can to make a difference, even if it's a small difference, and try to help out and get involved. So I appreciate everything that you're doing, and also for coming on in such late notice. So, same with everyone. Like, sorry for just like saying, hey, come today.
well, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate having some kind of platform to promote, I guess, any of the work that we're doing, to hopefully get more volunteers to come help with any of the work that we're doing.
Definitely. Yeah, leave your links, and I'll put them out there. I'll throw them out there on my social media and everything, and hopefully we get some people involved, and then I'll stay in touch with you and everything that you do, and I will just maybe however just share the links. Or do you have is there a Facebook page, or is it mainly Instagram, or?
Sorry, it's we have a Facebook, we have Instagram, and we have Twitter, and also TikTok. So
that's good. I mean, you got to be out there as much as you can. Yeah, I mean, it's good that you're utilizing all the platforms that you can. And cool. Yeah, I will get the word out about all that. Any other questions for Ashley? Tino, you're eating, so I know you probably can't ask any questions or say anything or comments. Or it looks like maybe you are.
Well, we also have a chapbook called Love Trumps Hate. Been working on it since he began running for office. And half of the poems in there were on immigration issues. So I ended up making its own chapbook, and it was protesting the kids in cages and the separation of families. So I have poems about that, a couple which I've turned into songs. And so, I know there's an event coming up in Bakersfield protecting the kids in cages and the separation of families. If you're interested, I'll toggle out, I'll find the date, and I'll post it in the link. But again, so it sounds like you've got some things going in the direction for the undocumented, and then you've got an overlap with the families of the undocumented, to include the children being incarcerated. So you've got a couple of issues there that I've already done a lot of research on and written poems on, that again I offer my activism to your forums.
Oh, sorry.
For sure.
Oh, I think they want to know where can we get the chapbooks or that you have? Do we just hit you up, Tino?
He's disappeared. No, yeah, I think Tino, are you there? You're muted and you're disappeared. We were asking about your chapbooks. Like, where are we? How do we get those?
Yeah, right now, just message me directly, because I'm hand making these. I am going to have hopefully a book out by the summertime that you'd be able to go to Amazon or whatever to order. But right now, yeah, it's a self publication. And I've got about 10 of them And half of them are activism, and the other half is more into the love of our culture and love poems and what have you. But yeah, half these books it's activism.
Sweet. Well, Ashley, I appreciate you coming on. Unless anyone has any other last words, we could move on to.
Diana was raising her hand earlier.
Tiana was raising her hand.
Oh yeah. Well, I just want to say I appreciate what you're doing. And I just followed you on Instagram, BLM Hanford. So I'll definitely take a look at that. I'm not in Hanford, so I probably can't do a whole lot, but I want to support in any way I can. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. And we take help from everybody, or you could join meetings. Like one of my best friends, he's part of like helping, but he actually lives in Seattle, but he's from Hanford. But so we have people from different areas that come and try to help us with stuff too. So or people who live, like a lot of people move out of this area because of income and just like anything like that, and also like nothing to do here. So there are actually people from Hanford everywhere. So like I have people like in DC and Oregon and stuff like that that used to be here or something like that. But we tried to do something for March of Washington this year, but I think we're going to postpone it next year. But it was going to be like art with activism too, as a project to really showcase the activism throughout the years, especially in the Central Valley. But like art of any kind would be appreciated. But we put a pause on it during like COVID and stuff. But that is something that's more than welcome. Like I loved your slam poetry, so that would be nice to have something to focus on that or anything like that. That'd be cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll keep my eyes peeled.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can stay in touch and then maybe collaborate on some kind of event incorporating arts and activism, because I feel like they do go hand in hand, but they are like no one really, they don't associate it. People are starting to realize that how the power of art and how it can help activism more. And so I think working together and whatnot, like just putting on events and for a certain thing, and then we have like resources we're networking now, and so we can try to stay in touch and hopefully come together again and do some cool things. But yeah, Ashley, you're more than welcome to stick around or dip. It doesn't matter. You can bounce whenever you feel like it. But who wants to? Tino, are you ready to do any poetry now? Is your time to shine, or no, Tino? You're like not there anymore, because we could always go to Geo. Tino, are you there? This is your chance, Tino, or I'm gonna kick you out of the meeting. You're trolling us. You said you're like, I'm a poet, everybody, but then it's like your time. Oh, I'm out.
I was looking. I found the flyer for the event in Bakersfield. It's at the end of the month. It's on the 30th in Bakersfield, but I got to take a picture of it because it won't let me upload it. But I'll do that after.
Yeah. Do some poetry right now while we still have a little bit of an audience, but no pressure to stay. Everyone's been here a long time. It's been like 2 hours already, but next time we'll try to get it rolling a little bit soon. Like we'll get it going a little bit quicker. But let's have like some art, some of the arts before we wrap up. So Tino, do some stuff, and then Gio, if you wanted to do any music, we can do that. And then yeah. Well, and then so Tina, are you wanting to read some poems, or are you going to do the music part?
Yeah, I'll do a poem and a song.
Okay.
So I have a poem called how many CASA people do we still have with us?
No more CASA people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did a one called Boys Don't Cry. And, I was just thinking of the child advocacy, I have one here called Unholstered.
All right.
And, so this actually does go with the protesting police brutality. 1,000 people shot to death last year by police. Half of these were minorities when we only make up 1/3 of the US population. So proportionately speaking, are being killed at a higher rate. The police officer killed in the line of duty is on the decline, but shootings of ethics groups are on the rise. Can we reduce this number of citizens being killed? Castile had a concealed carry weapons permit, calmly told the officer, I have a weapon. Yet in front of his girlfriend and 4-year-old daughter sitting in the back seat of his car, it quickly escalated. Officer Yonis shouted and unloaded his weapon and shot him to death. Where is the justice and the mistreatment? In 2014, NYPD put Eric Garner in a chokehold. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. You mean to tell me you can zip tie a crocodile without shooting it, but a man stopped breathing while in your custody? And even though it was all caught on camera for the world to see, they all walked away free. Here in 2020, it happened again. George Floyd said, please, I can't breathe. Mama, they're gonna kill me. Suffocating underneath the knee on his neck for an eternal 8 minutes until he exhaled his last breath and lay motionless. Despite the COVID, we protest. Hands up, don't shoot. Are these movements enough to stop the shootings? The nation proclaiming Black Lives Matter? Are youth reduced to the latest hashtag of rest in peace? I'm all for awareness, yet I've been watching the news less because it's depressing, including Facebook family members and friends sharing another death. People upset at the looting of Target, but don't understand that the darker complexion equals targets. Be glad we want justice and not vengeance. Truth is, the unarmed Michael Brown had a bullet hole through his forearm because his hands were up. A simple gesture, I surrender. For who will protect us when the hypervigilance is unholstered? For officers fired, it doesn't bring him back. For officers fired, it doesn't bring him back. For officer fired, it doesn't bring him back. And the lack of indictments and the deaths of Tamir Rice because Trump tells officers, please don't be too nice. Peace officers, come in peace, protect and serve. Please don't shoot. Police, don't shoot. Police, don't shoot.
Yeah. That was awesome. So you gonna do this song? All right. The audio. Hopefully we get some good audio. But yeah, that was awesome. I haven't heard you do that one before, so that's pretty intense. But you know. Oh shoot! You got the lights. All right. I haven't really seen the light show yet with the lights kind of dim, so that's cool. All right. Well, appreciate everyone that's still here. Gio dipped. Oh no, he came back. So yeah, I'm real pleased with how it came. This podcast came out because we had the arts, we had the activism. I'm not pleased with how I ran it or how I randomly bailed and then randomly came back after like a million years, and I didn't really have people introduce themselves at the beginning, so that was kind of weird. But it's only my 4th podcast, so I'm still learning. I'll have to get some tips from Tiana's podcast and on how to run a real professional one. And everything, but anyways, shoot, yeah, this was cool. Yeah, like I said, let's try to do it again, and do it a little bit more professional, and then let's hopefully stay in touch and collaborate in some way, one way, shape, or form, or the other. I would be happy to collaborate on podcast. Okay, all right, Tina, you ready? hopefully it comes through. We got to do
Oh, and I'm also willing to participate. Ashley, if you need someone to do a song or something, that's what I'm doing with Justin. Me and Justin and I we're trying to get more people to join us on his podcast and on his Zoom meeting. So I'm also willing to do it with other groups to help out. I think I do have poetry as well, but yeah, I'll leave you guys now to Tino. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if anyone's putting on events and needs music and stuff, we're building a network so you can pull from whoever is down, and it seems like we're all pretty much down to try to help out for some of these good causes. And Tino, you want to do a sound check or something?
Separations, let's be the change and free the kids from these cages. Parents crossed an imaginary line, risked everything to give the kids a better life. The promise written on the Statue of Liberty, bring me your tide, you're poor, yearning to breathe free. Freedom of the red, white, and blue, but for some, those words no longer ring true. Instead, they were met with zero tolerance, denied asylum, and got arrested, separated from the children in 2017. Instead of being sent to a host family, babies and children and parents who miss them locked up in the system inside a private prison, bounced around for years, worries and fears, crying inconsolable tears, locked up in cages, oh the heartbreak. If those were my kids, there's no way I could take it. No more kids in cages, no family separations. Let's be the change and free the kids from these cages. Largest immigrant detention system, currently housing 500,000. 77,000 of those are children. Hundreds have died while in custody. Little boys and girls, humble and full of dreams. 3,000 of these are missing. Where could they be? Sold into sex trafficking and slavery. The Supreme Court ordered the reunification of the parents back with their children. But now our country can't find them. Mothers and fathers never to be seen again. 500 kids, nowhere to go, no place to call home. Each a story of their own. Parents deported, kidnapped, and murdered. What is their address? Rolling block numbers under concrete slabs with no names on them. No more kids in cages, no family separations. Let's be the change and free the kids from these cages. Said they weren't human, called them animals, put them behind fences and inside of kennels. Kids in cages, so outrageous. Children of all ages, do you see the crime faces? They're not to blame, punished anyway. Call them summer camps, more like concentration camps, right here on American soil. Such injustice makes my blood boil. No more tearing families apart. Reunite them all. Time to heal these hearts. No more forcible transfer of children. This violates treaties and goes against the Constitution. Prison is no place for children. Most horrific crime in the nation. No more kids in cages, no more family separations, no more forced sterilization, no more hatred on the basis of race, no more discrimination in racist legislature. Fix the laws for fair immigration. Let's be the change and free the kids from these cages. No more kids in cages, no family separations. Let's be the change and free the kids from these cages. Oh, 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 oh.
Yeah. Dang. Felt it.
That was hard, man.
Legit. That was good. The audio, it came through. Your words came through clear. The the beat wasn't as clear for some reason. I don't know.
I lowered 3 out of the 5.
It was fine though. I think you can hear it, so you're able to get into it. But like, really, what I feel like on that, the vocals coming through with like more than anything else was pretty much all I think that's it would have probably made it a little muddy if you had had a little more like beat. So like, eventually we'll get like some perfect sound quality with if we like have like one of these things and like hook that up to like a laptop, and if we get like webcam and stuff. But for a phone, and whatnot, the microphone on that, and just I think it came through awesome. And we can review it on the YouTube and our Facebook, because it's all being recorded and stuff, and so yeah, I appreciate you doing that and putting the passion into it. And anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback?
That was nice. That was a lot to memorize. That's very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been grinding that one, because when I went to Fresno, it was new, right? So when I performed it, I had it was a distance masked protest, so you really couldn't read that. I didn't have all the words memorized at the time, but I was like trying to do the motions, as I was doing my best, and then the mic wasn't working, and so it kind of didn't matter. But good thing I had the vocals on the CD, But yeah, I converted it from a poem to a song, and I'm mad enough to tell y'all, it messed me up in a bad way, and I cried, researching this, writing this, rehearsing it, performing it. It took a lot to finally come to this place I'm coming with angst, it's a painful anger. But I accepted that if I break down, it's okay, that, this being the painful thing that it is, much as it hurts my heart, that people need to know about it, and they need to hear it. And, I wanted to do my best to convey, in every way possible, poetically, and from the hip hop to, the singing. So I appreciate you guys. And so yeah, when I'm done, I'll go back and I'll take a picture of it so I can put down the date of the event on the 30th.
Soplamondad, que tengo un diccionario de los antiguos, de los de antes. Pero hueputa, vaya con Y de yuca, mal parido. ¿Cómo va a poner vaya, cara de verga? Hueputa, perdió la. Aquí tengo un diccionario de los antiguos, de los de antes. Pero hueputa, vaya con Y de yuca, mal parido. ¿Cómo va a poner?
Appreciate you coming into our site. That means that they're watching, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, I figured there were trolls, and I feel bad. Sorry about that, Tino, to get interrupted like that. You're muted. Tino, you're muted. I muted everyone, sorry.
No, you did good. It wasn't at a bad time. So, I mean, it would have been worse, if it was like during the poetry or during the performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. That's rough.
What's that?
I've seen it happen.
Yeah, we've had it. It happens. It's at least we have a waiting room, and so like they can't just come in. Like before, when I just would put the passcode, like everyone had, like I kick them out, and they had the passcode, and so they would just come in automatically. So that was, unfortunately we had it. Like it was like 4 or 5 people like were in the waiting room. I was like, that's kind of weird. I wonder if they're here for whatever. But then I realized they're trolling. Anyway, well, Gio, do you want to do anything, or anybody have anything for Tino? Any words after the trolls?
I got one. This is like a poem that I wrote when I was at the detention center when I came out.
Heck yeah.
It's in Spanish. It's called Gustavo. I turned it into a song, but I'm just gonna read it because I only played it once, so
All right. Are you gonna read it in Spanish and then can you translate it or no?
yeah, I could translate it.
All right.
So it's called Gustavo, and it's a guy that I met in there, and I made it out, and he didn't. He got deported. Um, it's called Gustavo. So it says, dime tú por qué ya no lo quieren aquí, si él solo buscaba una mejor manera de vivir. Su empleo de cocinero por un día quiso olvidar y decidió tomar y manejar. Decisiones que por siempre su vida cambiarán. Sentado junto a mí en un centro de detención en Montgomery County, él espera deportación. Dice que en 4 días nos llevará el avión. Gustavo, amigo mío, te deseo lo mejor. Se acerca frente al juez con la mirada perdida, pues habrá decisiones que cambiarán su vida. Sentado junto a mí en un centro de detención en Montgomery County, él espera deportación. Dice que en 4 días nos llevará el avión. Gustavo, amigo mío, te deseo lo mejor. So it says in English, tell me why they don't want him here. He was just looking for a better way to live. His job as a cook, one day he wanted to forget and he decided to drink and drive. Decisions that forever will mark his life. He's sitting next to me in a detention center in Montgomery County. In 4 days, the plane is gonna take us. Gustavo, I wish you the best. He gets close to the judge, and he's um he's um he's looking away because there's decisions that are gonna change forever his life. And then it repeats again. It says, sitting next to me in a detention center, waiting deportation. He says that in 4 days the plane is gonna take us. Gustavo, I wish you the best.
Nice.
Yeah. I had all kinds of letters, and I don't know. This one was just in the top, and that's the only poem that I had about that.
Wow.
So there's no coincidence, that I came in here and
Nice, dude. That was awesome. Any feedback, comments, concerns, questions for Gio?
That was a nice tribute to your friend. We really don't hear those.
yeah.
That for the people that would argue that all lives matter, I would say, they do to me. But I could give them a list of a dozen groups of people that it seems like they don't matter, and the homeless, the addicted, the undocumented, when I tell all lives matter to a kid in a cage, that one really shuts them up, but yeah, those stories, they don't make the news.
Yeah.
So
you know what? That part, sorry to interrupt you, is that I'm from California. My immigration lawyer told me you have to take care of your warrants if you have any. I said, yeah. So them knowing that I had the money to pay for the DUI that I had in 1998, I went in 2014. They charged me with a brand new DUI, paid $3,800, and put an ice hold on me, knowing that I was not able to get out. So, like I said, we all make mistakes. And when I went in there, I was ready for the consequences, but I was not expecting for them to do that to me because I've been here so long, and I just say, oh, well, I have a social security. But if you don't have if you're not legal, they automatically put a hold on you in those parts of the states. And also if the guy that I met, the Gustavo guy, he just had a DUI for the first time in his life. And they were telling him, you have to sign or you're gonna do prison time. You have to sign that you're gonna get deported, that you're willing. And they don't do that to American people. They don't do that to anyone else. So why would they have to do it to people? Because they know that they don't know the rights, And everybody that I met in the detention center, it was for DUIs or for a ticket, misdemeanor, no seatbelt, those type of misdemeanors. Not even big cases, but it's just mind blowing of how they do whatever they want, you know. And they went and picked him up at work, and they told him, no, they went and picked him up at his it was like a Baja taco place, and they went and picked him up there, and they told him, "Oh, you can call your wife, and she can come and get you. You can get bailed out." But it was BS. They already knew that he was not gonna get out, you know, and that's unfortunate, you know. But yeah, that's all I
Well,
have.
yeah, thank you for sharing, man. That was cool. I mean, I've read most of your poems, and yeah, none of them were mainly like nature based and music based. So that was cool that you had a cool kind of more activist based one. So I'm glad that you brought that out. Anybody else have any feedback, comments, concerns, questions, or anything before we kind of wrap up? Anybody have any last words before we kind of in this? Because we've already been on an hour and a half now, and I think everyone deserves a break. And you're muted, Gia.
I just want to say thank you to everyone. I appreciate you guys what you're doing. You know, you guys didn't have to do it, and you guys are doing it. So you guys have a big heart, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people appreciates what you guys are doing, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. Like I said, I'm almost at the end of the road. I already have a work permit. I'm working, and I got a security guard job. You know, because why not? You know, I can do whatever I want now. So, but my thing is, um, I really, really appreciate what you guys are doing. So.
Yeah, everyone, you're amazing for sticking around this long. I really appreciate it. It's not even funny, like how long we've been on here, and, and we've been going at it forever. And yeah, you didn't have to, and you just took the time out of your day. So let's stay in touch. Let's figure out a way to connect again, and try to make a change, make our communities, and make a difference as best we can, whatever that means. And hopefully, yeah, we can come together eventually someday, and working on some projects that do some good stuff. Any last words though, besides that kind of weak little end? Because I'm not good at ending stuff.
Ashley, do you write poetry?
What's that?
I was asking Ashley if she writes poetry.
Writing actually gives me very anxiety. I get really anxious, like how people cry when they're doing math. Like that's how I feel about writing.
Okay, well, it can be cathartic. And I was sharing with Justin earlier. I admitted to him that here I come, this lyrical poet with this love poems, and touched ground on my first slam poetry. And those teenagers kicked my ass, and it didn't rhyme. It wasn't to a rhythm. They were just ranting about what they were passionate about, and they won, and I didn't. And I had to go back to the drawing board, about what poetry is. But I don't know if it's a word or not. But I make words, and it's poemize. So if you have an idea, right? You have an idea and you would like to see it in a poem or a song, just shoot me the idea. And, no pressure on the writing. I can take the idea and restructure it, to put it into rhythm and have breaks and, just kind of process it and flush out the feeling, and maybe it'll rhyme and maybe it won't. But it's a good exercise. And because there was another gal in Fresno, and she was just off her head. She was coming up with some good chants that I was like, man, that would have went good on my song, And we all have a voice, and even what you were just putting down, it was some good stuff. And we can do it in many different ways. Is what I'm offering you. Let's call it translating. We can translate, because you were talking about it very easily, and we can translate that into poetry with not a whole lot more effort, because your passion was there.
Or even essays, I know a lot of the poets and artists and musicians like me is anyone can do it. You could do it. I could do it. Anyone, but people are busy and they're working on projects and stuff, and so, but I definitely sense Ashley that as far as maybe essays or or something or spoken word possibly. Yeah, I definitely can sense that could be something that you might want to think about getting into. I know anxiety is never fun, and I kind of get the same way. Like, I'm trying to go to workshops and get better at, getting comfortable writing and reading poetry in front of people, but it's slowly coming. And but there's other ways to express yourself. Like, what you're doing is really awesome for the community, and so, like, no pressure. We're not trying to say you have to start writing.
I know.
But no, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, maybe just even like. Eventually, someday you could, write some essays or books or poems or something about of some of the causes, and it could, you never know who it could inspire and whatnot. But maybe finish school first, probably, and graduate and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do want to get my degree. I've turned 32 soon. I would love to have my degree. I'd be the first one in my family to have one. So I appreciate it because I was talking to my friends last week, I think, or a couple weeks ago, talking about, I think, growing up as like a woman or a girl to a woman and everything, and being a person of color, being Black, is just like having that feeling of having to be knowing everything before you talk about stuff, like not like everybody shutting down your voice really, and questioning everything that you do, like whether it's a woman or like being a girl and stuff, like you can't know this, or just all that stress. So I always have that feeling that like I have to know everything before I speak, and like learning how to I want to say like decolonize too, because I feel like that is just kind of like with being a Black and American, or being a person of color, always being checked by white people, I guess, or people with privilege, or people with power too, and not believing everything you say. So I think that also translates in when I write. I feel that pressure, like I have to be perfect in the writing, or like everything, like I'm just gonna burn inside and out. But I really appreciate you guys saying that you see my passion and stuff, because I've been nervous to talk out loud about it, or about the stuff that I feel passionate about, I guess. So I really appreciate you guys saying that and being able to see that.
Definitely, yeah. Appreciate you being here. Same with everybody. Yeah, I mean, one of my projects is I'm trying to try to get like a magazine sort of thing where we get people to write some articles about what they're passionate about and what they see happening and whatnot. So I'll probably let people know more about that once I get some better ideas. Right now, Gio and I are kind of putting together a zine of just like poetry and art, but like we're definitely going to try to expand to more articles that people. It doesn't have to be long articles, but just to get like the word out about different things and causes and stuff. So I'll keep everyone in the loop. But yeah, everyone, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Let's before it gets too late, before we start having any more conversations, let's wrap it up. Everyone, take care. Have a good evening. Peace. Later, guys. See you, Gio. You guys, thanks for coming. Tino, you're awesome. Thank you for coming at such short notice. It really enhanced the podcast. So
Fantastic.
Good stuff.
So where can I watch it?
You can watch it it's on Facebook Live right now. So you can go to my Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's on Instagram. But yeah, probably easiest would be my Facebook, Gus Blow.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Check it out. See if you can figure out if you need to tweak some things, adjust them, and then we can brainstorm some ideas very soon.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And thank you for your conversation, your time, and your technical support and your podcast.
Heck yeah, man. All right. Let's stay in touch.
Okay. Till next time.
Peace.
Okay. Bye, brother.
Later.